A number of things Christians have suffered in this country can be compared to the crucifixion of the Lord. Do we talk about the takeover of all Christian schools, all mission schools by Nigerian government? They took over those schools, destroyed them, turned our educational institutions into houses of formation of criminals and mediocres. People who can't write simple letters, who can't speak any language correctly, who can't solve their own problems, and won't pass any exam without cheating. And that is like crucifying, because that is a house. The school is a house of formation of character.
In a nation where faith is woven deeply into the soul of the people, the brutal irony is that those who kneel to pray are often the ones forced to rise and run for their lives. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, is increasingly becoming a battleground, not just for political power or territorial dominance, but for religious survival. In this heart-wrenching update, a respected Nigerian bishop has broken his silence, crying out over what he describes as a systematic genocide against Christians. And his words are nothing short of prophetic. The persecution of Christians in Nigeria today, he said, can be likened to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Think that's an exaggeration? Let's take a sober walk through the memory lane. From the Owo Church massacre in Ondo State, where gunmen stormed St. Francis Catholic Church and slaughtered over 40 worshippers in cold blood, to the burning alive of Deborah Samuel in Sokoto for alleged blasphemy and the countless kidnappings of priests and pastors across Kaduna, Benue, and the Middle Belt. The blood of the innocent has been crying from the soil of the land unanswered. This bishop message is not just a lamentation, it is a warning, a desperate plea for the world to see what Nigerian government continues to downplay. That Christians in Nigeria are facing a slow but brutal extinction. In parts of the country, especially in rural communities where terror reigns and security is nowhere to be found. How long will the world remain silent? How long will churches burn, altars be discarded, and families be butchered, while leaders offer nothing more than hollow condolences? This is not just an update, it is a wake-up call, a spiritual and humanitarian emergency that must not be ignored. Stay with us as we break down the bishop's courageous speech, connect the dots in real-life attacks across the country, and shine a light on the injustice that has turned place of worship into targets of war. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe to Viewpoint News, where we dare to say what others are afraid to say. We bring you the unfiltered truth on Nigerian insecurity, politics, and everything they don't want you to hear.
A number of things Christians have suffered in this country can be compared to the crucifixion of the Lord. Do we talk about the takeover of all Christian schools, all mission schools by Nigerian government? They took over those schools, destroyed them, turned our educational institutions into houses of formation of criminals and mediocres. People who can't write simple letters, who can't speak any language correctly, who can't solve their own problems, and won't pass any exam without cheating. And that is like crucifying, because that is a house. The school is a house of formation of character. They have taken the body away. They have removed all signs of his death. Since after the takeover of schools, who has the correct statistics of the number of churches that have been burnt down in this country? Who knows how many Christians have been killed in this country because they are Christians? Some right inside the church. Some will tell you these are criminals. They are not just targeting Christians. Take it easy. How many of those who perpetrate these crimes have been arrested and prosecuted? How many of them are in jail? How many of them have faced the death penalty? The Catholic Church is against the death penalty. I'm talking about Nigerian law. But we know that if anything happens to some of those who perpetrate this crime, either in self-defense or in resistance, the government stands up. There is outrage everywhere in all levels of government. This selective outrage of government, this selective outrage of the police, of the army, of the security agencies, when innocent citizens are massacred and when criminals are repelled and in the repelling they die, this selective outrage is like, it's not only that they have killed him, they have taken the body away. They want to wipe off every trace. And some Christians are being provoked legitimately to react. Anytime any of them reacts, they are said to be taking the laws into their hands. But all those who trample the law with their feet, trample upon the law, they kill, they rape, they maim, they sack farmers, they harvest crops of farmers and feed it to their cattle. And when you say no, why are you doing this? It is death. And when they do that, they record it and post it to government to see. If you ask them question, you are killed. If you chase them away and while running away they die, you'll be condemned to death.
Back to her because she said no other person.
It is not possible. This persecution of the Igbo people, this orchestrated, almost global persecution of the people stops with me. It cannot happen. It can never happen. That is why we do what we do. That is why I do what I do. I am campaigning for the freedom of my people because of the persecution that we are facing. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you very much. Comes back to her because she said no other person.
It is not possible. This persecution of the Igbo people, this orchestrated, almost global persecution of the people stops with me. It cannot happen. It can never happen. That is why we do what we do. That is why I do what I do. I am campaigning for the freedom of my people because of the persecution that we are facing. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you very much.
As we bring this emotional update to a close, let us ask ourselves, how many more crosses must be carried before Nigerians hear the cries of his persecuted Christians? What the bishop said today was not just the frustration of a clergyman, it was the echo of the voiceless, the wounded, and the forgotten. From the ashes of burnt churches in Plateau to the unmarked graves in southern Kaduna and the tear-stained pews of war, the evidence is clear: faith in Nigeria is under fire. This is not a political narrative, it is a human tragedy. Let us not normalize this horror. Let us not get used to the sounds of mourning choirs. Let us not become numb to the blood that now waters our altars. If we don't speak up, who will? As the people of conscience, whether Christians, Muslims, or otherwise, we must rise above tribalism and religion and recognize that persecution against one group is a threat to all. Today it may be a church, tomorrow it could be your community. Let's demand accountability. Let's demand that the government stop treating terrorists like ghosts while worshippers are treated like collateral damage. And to Christians faithfuls across Nigeria, you are not alone. Your cries are heard, your pain is real, and your courage to worship in the face of terror is the truest form of faith. If this update touched something in you, like, share, and comment. Let the world know what's happening in Nigeria, and subscribe to Viewpoint News, where we amplify truth, expose evil, and stand with the oppressed. Until next time, stay awake, stay safe, and never be silent in the face of injustice.